Welcome back to the channel and a new video. Some of you eagle-eyed people have already seen this in the background. A few people have actually mentioned it, but no one could quite make out what it was. So guys, it is another Volvo, a V40 R design. And it just so happened this one kind of landed in our lap. Good friend of mine, Dan, it's actually his auntie's car. She was fully comp. Her husband, unfortunately, was driving on her insurance, third party, and it was involved in an accident. And it wasn't even their fault, but unfortunately, they couldn't get paid out on this car. So he reached out to me, of course, and said, Rob, are you interested in it? We need to get it gone. I've picked it up from a police, you know, the police have them recovered and then stored, or the insurance company. And obviously I need to move it on. So he told me the price. And Chris said, yeah, pull the pin, we'll have that. Sounds like a nice car. And of course, another unrecorded one. It's really not looking that bad, but of course we're not gonna know until we get into the nitty gritty of it. And every airbag's gone off in this, hasn't it?
Yeah, which probably means all the seat belts as well, Rob. So.
Yeah, well I can see, I actually drove it into the yard, so it still drives. But that one there, look, yeah, they've both gone. Knee airbag, steering wheel, dash, both curtains. So yeah, fair bit of work. Luckily the bumper is in the back of it, so we've got that. And a petrol.
Petrol?
Yeah, not sure if it's 2 litre or 1.6, but it is only a 2015, but that does make it LEZ compliant, doesn't it? So,
doesn't look like there's any.
No, Chris, do you know when I had a little look at it, it's had the thump here, is where the impact is.
This is all bolting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's bolting front panel.
And it's pushed it up, but can you see that?
So, what am I looking for, mate?
Still holding its water.
Oh yeah, still holding that, isn't it?
Like I said, I drove it in.
Hard to see that chassis leg, but there might be a slight bit on that. But
yeah. Have you seen this? Sorry to change the subject. A
stop-start
battery, isn't it?
Stop-start battery, it is, yeah. It's in a vulnerable little spot there, isn't it?
Is that the ECU right behind it?
Is it really?
I think
it is, yeah.
Yeah. God, that was lucky. I said
well,
it still
runs,
drives,
doesn't it? So
that is just hanging there. Chris, I want to throw a bit of a curveball in this video. I hope you don't mind, because I'm kind of springing this on you as well. I haven't even mentioned it. Obviously, we haven't seen a lot of you in some of the most recent videos, and it does get mentioned all the time.
Yep.
And everyone is really interested in what you're doing. I know you and Dan have done a great big deal in there. Do you mind if we have a quick wander around?
Yeah, well,
is that all right?
I don't know how much in previous videos, I think we mentioned we're moving these containers.
Do you want to run through it now, and then we'll come back to the car?
Moving 2 or possibly 3 of these containers to create room for a spray booth.
Yeah.
Which originally I was going to put there, wasn't I?
Yes.
But it ended up being a bit tight for room. I'd done shuttering, didn't I? And then we didn't pour it because the guy that was renting my yard decided to move out, which kind of opened the opportunity of making the rented yard a bit smaller and this yard a bit bigger, which is what we need, really.
Yeah. Apart from a few Instagram posts, no one's seen anything.
No, so basically it's been a case of making an area, and because this yard is on a lot lower level, we've been doing a retaining wall for those containers to go into, and like I say, that frees up the space there, which is in close proximity to the workshop, for the spray booth. So
new fence
all
the way along.
New fence and a new retaining wall over this side.
That's starting to look lovely, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming together. It's all done out of, or mainly done out of all second-hand stuff.
I was just going to mention it's all recycled, including all these concretes.
Yeah, and the steels. Yeah, everything's second-hand, been reused, repurposed.
But these look really good, and I know what they're from, but I want you to explain where these grills come from so that everyone else knows.
So a friend of mine does a bit of work for a company, and they was having a clear out, and I just happened to be round here with him one day, and these are in a skip, and brand new panels these are, and they were in a scrap skip, And anyway, long story short, he rung the owner up and we ended up buying those galvanised panels for £5 each. So we split them. I had half, he had half. And this was a few years ago, wasn't it? They'd been kicking around a while. And I remember you saying to me, what'd you buy them for? And I said, £5 each, they'd come in handy sometime. Anyway, come up with this bit of idea, because these posts came as part of the deal in buying the RSJs that I wanted for that, which was second hand. Didn't really want the posts, but had them as part of the deal. And then kind of started looking and thought, well, if we use the posts and these like gabions, could work out quite well. But I only had enough to get to about here. So I rung my mate up and said to him, have you used any of those? He said, no, I haven't found a use for them yet. I said, well, I have. Can I buy your half? He said, yeah, but not at £5 each. So I've ended up having to give him a bit more, which is fair enough. He's stored them for about 4 years, hasn't he? So I've bought his ones back, and that's given us enough to come along here. And there's going to be a little return across that end there. And it's not taking any of the yard space up, because that bank battered down. You can kind of see it there, Rob.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
The bank,
you can see it.
The bank came out to about here.
It ended out here,
so we've et into the bank and then sat that further back. So it's actually increased the yard space here and given an area up there, which I haven't got anything in mind for it at the moment, short term, but long term, I'm looking at the possibility of putting photovoltaic solar panels, because there's quite a big area up there, but it's quite safe as well. It's not going to get run into.
No.
So, and it capture the sun most of the day. So we're thinking about putting quite a substantial investment, but should be worth it in the long run.
I love this. Everything's been reused. So there used to be a concrete fence up there, basically.
Which the posts had seen better days.
Yeah, but you've put all of them as a backing against the wall.
Yeah, it's kind of segregating. You can show it from the end.
And you've put all the stones in, so like
it limits the amount of stone we have to use to quite a lot less. So we got this cheaper feel here, which is a good drainage.
Yeah.
And you can see we've kept that down to 400. So it's quite expensive to buy this.
Yeah.
So
I know, I ordered it.
We've ended up using a lot less than we would have done if we'd filled the whole thing up with it.
But this is quite a big space up here as well, isn't it? So yeah,
and these gravel boards are basically to segregate the two materials from mixing.
Yeah.
So, and also all of these steels have feet on them going back to that bank, and all that weight is down on there. We've also got all sorts of posts and anything concrete that was lying about laid across the back that this is on. So it's all weighted. All weighted down, trying to alleviate the pressure, pushing it that way. So
guys, that is what Chris has been up to. He has not left me.
No.
He has not run off to do something else. People were like, where's Chris? Why ain't he in the video?
For the future,
That's right, yeah. I mean, none of this gets done overnight. You've literally been out here to the middle of the night for months.
Yeah, trying to get
sorted.
That's right. Getting these steels all done wasn't a 5-minute job. I did put a couple of those on Instagram. So yeah, it's
really,
taking shape.
It's really getting there, mate, isn't it?
It is.
And you've of course made this bit of a ramp and up here.
Yeah, to give us, because this yard didn't have access from up here. It was access from there.
Yeah.
So, but now we're going to probably be using it, and it will no longer be rented. It makes sense that we can have access.
And of course there is a new set of gates up here as well.
There is, and all those old ones will be going.
I guess you're not going to be able to see where, how they are until they're done, but basically there's a new set of gates there. Right, mate, thank you for that little update. Everyone was dying to know, what's Chris been up to? Where is he? Is he on holiday? But no, definitely not, working hard. Let's get back to the job in hand. Just like we do with every car, guys, I'm going to run a check, of course, using carvertical.com. Car Vertical now has an app It's more user friendly, and of course down in the bottom right hand corner there you can see that handy message button which you can use to contact them if you have any issues. So this one is a 65, which could be a 2015 or 16, and as you can see there it clearly states it is a petrol 2016. Theft clearly highlighted there in green, so all good. Odometer in green, financial and legal in green, and damage in green as well. I was told it was unrecorded, but you've always got to run your checks just to make sure there's no outstanding finance. With this new check, of course, you can see at the top there, you've got theft, odometer, financial and legal, damage, market value, emissions, etc. You can actually click on one of those instead of scrolling down, and it puts you straight in that segment. So market value, average market price for such vehicle, £10,499. Be curious of hidden issues, etc. And you can see there the lowest price that one is for sale for is 8,947, average 10,499, and the highest price £12,084. So I'm quite happy with that, with what we paid for it. So that car does all check out fine. Just purely for demonstration purposes, guys, this is actually our Peugeot Expert van, and you can see there everything is green until you get to damaged, and it is clearly highlighted there in amber. And also, if you do click on damage, it gives you a bit more information. Like this vehicle was an insurance write-off. You go further down and it actually tells you repairable structural damage. I want to thank Car Vertical once again for the continued support on the channel. Guys, to benefit from a discount off your check, use the code up on screen now, or there's a link in the description. Right guys, so back to the car. We are going to pull it in the workshop. This is the plan. We don't know the extent of the damage. It is hidden behind there, isn't it? You could start pulling things around and get another little look at it, but we're actually going to get it stripped, find out exactly what we need and get it ordered up for it. I know someone's going to mention you haven't done this one yet, but Chris, I am going to mention it's not going to ruin the video, is it? Everyone mentions that. You went all the way to Cornwall and Chris has picked up. We've got a brand new head for that. Yeah. We've got everything to finish that car. So we will be on that very soon. We have been kind of holding off because of the heat, and we've got no engine mount on it, and working out here in that heat doing
and
that.
Also, we know that the car needs quite a bit of paint around it once we've done it, and there's a backlog for having the paint done.
Yeah.
So if we do spend a couple of days putting that back together, we then can't go any further with it, because we know we're still a few weeks away from being able to get it painted. So we've kind of been spending our time on other things, haven't we? But we will get, when we know that it can go for paint, it'll be almost like,
get it done.
Right, get it done. Yeah. It's booked in for paint. So
I keep getting sidetracked. Let's get this car in the workshop. So straight in the workshop and working in perfect harmony as usual. Straight in there, loads of little 8mm holding that top landing panel on there, and then a couple of twist clips for the headlight. Chris is helping me on the front there, removing everything. Then he removes straight onto the passenger side wing, and I'll concentrate on that bumper bar. Have to get the grinder out there, cut the hole a little bit bigger to get the last 13mm bolt out, and looks like job is a good one. So initially off the bat, actually not that bad, but quite a lot of stuff that you couldn't see behind there. So the ECU, what do you establish, Chris?
Well, the box that it sits in is clearly toast.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I mean, it was all running, so we was pretty confident. It just took a little tiny graze there, but nothing to worry about, I don't think. I think that's all good, isn't it? Stop-start battery has got a little hole in it.
Where did we put that? There, yeah.
Little tiny, so that's a shame. Just caught it.
Just there, yeah.
Radiator, although it's got water in it, has got the lugs broken off.
Yeah, but none of this is sitting
in
the cradle.
Condenser for the aircon that's got a hole in it. Intercooler looks okay, under tray's toast. Wings come off, this flitch is fine. Little tiny bit of distortion in that inner wing panel there. But luckily for us, the only major damage is this chassis cap. You can see there. And it's a
Spot
repair
welded
section.
in.
And there's the other, so it's just sleeves up inside that. So that'll be a new genuine part and should be a very simple swap over.
No frame machine.
No, doubtful, because we'll have to have a measure up, won't we? And we'll have to have a
It's designed to take an impact
crumple,
to a degree, isn't it?
But so that's real good news, isn't it?
And then your rad carrier here is obviously
that's
bent right
toast
back
as well, isn't
and
it?
that is holding it. But
And that's what's killed the radiator and the condenser, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's
but the intercooler survived.
Intercooler, but I don't think that is on the carrier, is it?
No.
So that's on the front. It's where this has got hit low down and it's ripped the bottoms out of the condenser and the.
It's a shame, yeah. That's like Chris said. That's had a whack, and it's also got that loop in it, and it's broke the pins off the water rad. But I have just been looking online. This is an assessment because we want to order parts for it. We don't like to have cars sitting around, not have to strip it down and then start looking for the parts in a month. I will get straight on it, but the bits for this are very, very expensive. If you want to buy a complete front end, it's like £3.5 grand. I noticed a second-hand bonnet's like £300-400. So instead of going to one place and buying everything, I'm going to do a bit of what I normally do and source different parts from different places. Now, I have straight away got on the phone to Eddie and he's got a front bumper for us, which is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, we have got the front bumper, haven't we?
We've got the front bumper in the back.
How much of it is...
Yeah, so it'll have some sensors in it and some lights. Silver Lake have got a few bits, so it's a bit like that really. We're going to be sourcing bits from here and bits from everywhere. And I should think we're not going to get back on this car now until we've got the majority of the parts for it, are we?
Not really, Rob.
Is that quick release as well?
Yeah. I can't get my fingers on the end of that one, but I'm going to put the pliers on it. Yeah, half a turn. Half a turn.
Oh yeah, I
It
can
locks
see the old.
in.
The reason
Quite unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, the reason I mention that is because I've never seen the headlights like that before, and literally, you twist, pull this pin out, and the headlight slides out, which is, I think a lot of manufacturers are going down like that because it's a nightmare to change the bulb otherwise. Yeah. But yeah, really, really good idea, and of course, very nice and easy to strip down. But I think we're pretty much done there with stripping this down.
That's all right.
There's quite a substantial list. I mean, that didn't really get hit the top half of that front panel, but where it did push it in, where it's bolted to the bumper bar, it obviously kinked it all up and snapped it as well. So we need a new front panel for it, new crash bar, and like Chris said, ring the dealer and order up that cap.
I think that might have gone that way a bit, Rob.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Yeah, you have a look, Dan.
Let's have a look down this chassis leg. Yeah, that one does tip in slightly.
Yeah, I think we need the airbox out just to.
Just have a look in there, mate.
You can, but I think that's.
You want to get it out and have a good look.
Yeah,
Let's
I think
do
there's
that.
a bit of damage under
We
that.
all know Chris knows his onions, and that was a good shout, mate. Well done. So he's had the airbox out, and you can actually see that bolt there is actually, there's a kink here, and it's actually bent upwards. It should be flat.
If you see this top flange, that should be straight. So it has just all come this way slightly.
Just tweaked the leg over.
Yeah, so that will need to go on the jig.
It will need to go on the jig for a little bit of a pull.
It will.
This video's been a little bit different, Chris, with the yard, etc. We've also got some fantastic news, haven't we, for the channel?
Well, I was going to say, with the phone call you've just had,
we are going to put the wheels back on this. I am going to go chasing after the bits, of course, as usual. If any of you have got the bits, let me know on Instagram. It always includes your number. We are going to jump in the van. We're going to Dartford.
We are.
To share some very, very exciting news with you guys. So we'll pick up as soon as we get there. First of all, guys, I'm going to apologise. We did not bring the microphones, but we have been waiting, what's it, 4 or 5 months now, Chris, for this. This is a huge, huge investment for us. It is a combined jig and a lift all in one. And it's just going to aid us so much, make life so much easier. I mean, the setup process Chris has been doing on the other jig for years, I don't know how to do it. No. I tighten up bolts when you ask me. I'm going to learn this straight away, and it's just going to make life so easy. So it combines into, Chris, I'm going to get you to stand this side.
Yep.
You understand it a lot more than me, so basically...
So this black bit really is the frame.
Yeah.
And attaches to that is these kiddies, which can either have, yeah, it's got a lot on there, can either have a seal clamp on it, so there's 4 of those, or a lift pad that's conventional, goes under your seal.
To lift the car?
Yeah, so in that instance you use it as a scissor lift.
So we're going to have 2 lifts in the workshop now?
Yeah, and the advantage of a scissor lift over a 2-post lift is you haven't got the post in the way.
That's right.
So it means you can open all 4 doors easily, get round the car. Doesn't lift quite so high, but that's not a problem for us because the building height, we can't always lift full height anyway. So, and then there's a dozer unit somewhere which we might have to cut back in.
Yeah, and show that inside.
And a dozer unit, which is a lot more compact than our Celette setup, which will do a 360 all the way round this frame. So,
yeah, I'm excited about this.
So, and quite a quick, easy setup, and doesn't take a lot of room up either.
Nah, do you want to? He did just show you a couple of buttons.
Not his full height. So it is air solenoid operated safety locks, and
yeah, that's lovely.
Nice. Yeah,
that's lovely. We was originally going for these trolleys where you lift the car up, lower it back down on these wheel trolleys, and then
these stands.
Let me come this side to you, mate. No, that's right.
What it is that when you lift the car up, you lift off of these with the pads in place.
Yeah.
Once you get the car up, you need to lower it onto them because you need to drop it back down to give yourself space
to get the seal clamps
on. Get those on, and then you lift up. So they're only used temporary while you transition from lift to jig, really. Yeah. So, but yeah, you're right, we was going for them.
Our plan originally, I'm just going to run it by everyone because they're not going to know, is we was concreting this into the workshop.
We haven't ruled that out, have we?
No.
We may
still do that
at a later date and drop it flush fit.
Yes, so basically you're just driving over this like it's the workshop floor at the moment, but that ideally is what we wanted, but today he's offered us... We haven't got time to do that, but he has offered us a bit of an upgrade and at cost price as well, which is basically these are the wheel stands, but they fold down completely flat and there's a set of ramps there. So for the moment, I think we're going to roll with that.
And they sit up each side and just drive in. Yeah.
Shall we show the actual dozer that goes around the outside of it?
It's
just
because
there's people in there. We'll ask permission.
Customers about, so we'll probably cut back in, shall we?
Yeah, definitely. But guys, we ordered this. I can't even remember. March we ordered this.
We looked at it in February, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, and he kind of...
waiting for it to come in, weren't we?
Well, he kind of orders once they're purchased, which does make sense. That's the owner in the background there. Here's the little pads for the lift. Yeah, it's all really nice, isn't it?
All quite straightforward, I think.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. And like I say, and you've got to swap it to that. So whilst you're in the process of swapping from that to that, you have to put it on stand.
Yeah, wheel stands.
And just lower the bench and leave the car.
I mean, people know, they've seen us where we've got the arms of the lift in the other jig, and we struggle. We do struggle. We have to prop it up, and anyway, no more struggling, mate. Not for you anyway. Not for either of us.
Make life a lot easier, shouldn't it?
Let's ask him if we can go inside and show that dozer. Just popped off there while he finished building this up and got it out ready. Nice bit of kit, mate, isn't it? Lovely bit of kit. Let me come this side of you, bud. Go on.
That is what attaches it. And so can go 360 all the way round.
Yeah, lovely. So, a down pull.
Yeah, very handy. And obviously on the dozer, the ram pulls a chain. So this like on our Celette, this swings back, so you need extra room. That all is contained within that. That all rotates. And then that's got multiple positions to pivot.
Yeah, lovely bit of kit.
So yeah,
we're really happy with that. Video did go a little bit off course, but of course, all for the very, very good reasons. We are really, really excited about having that new machine here. Chris has arranged a day with him. He's coming very, very early next week, and we're going to get it fitted and hopefully get that Volvo on there.
Yeah,
give the leg a little,
right.
give the leg a little
yeah,
pull
definitely,
on it.
definitely. Yeah.
So it's a good car to practice on. It's very, very minimal localised damage on the corner of that, and it's going to be quite exciting to do it. I know a lot of you are going to ask about Chris's Celette frame machine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and he's had it for, how long have you had that?
Probably nearly 30.
Nearly 30 years.
Yeah,
It still does exactly what it says on the tin, but it was time for us to upgrade to that, purely because that takes up a whole space. That ramp, it is going to take up a space, but it creates another ramp, so when we need it.
It was quite interesting, isn't it? The guy we've just bought the new one from knows the guy that I bought that from.
Originally,
who I've lost touch with about 10 years ago, Paul. And he knows him, he's a good friend of his.
That's
so,
who you
small
initially
world.
tried to find.
Yeah, I was
first.
trying to get hold of his phone number because I thought he'd probably still in the game.
Yeah.
And it turns out he is.
Small world, Chris.
Small world.
So Chris, as we was just talking, actually on the way back, he's going to let that go, guys. So I'll probably put it on Instagram maybe once the other one's here.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It does what it says on the tin.
No, that's
There's
right.
a bit of slop in the dozer.
There is a bit.
It's well used.
Yeah.
So.
And you do need a lift to load it.
Oh yeah.
Where with the new system we've got, the advantage is it's a built-in lift.
It's got the lift
you
built into it.
don't need a lift to load
Yeah.
it.
So a nice long video for you guys. Don't forget, put your thoughts in your comments in the comment section down below. Let us know what you think of the new jig system. Like, subscribe and share. And of course, if you do want to follow us on Instagram, it's Salvage Rebuilds. You can follow Chris on his jollies at Salvage Rebuilds Chris. Like, subscribe and share, and we'll see you all very, very soon in the next one.